Hello, and welcome to Wallace's Mysteries of Antiquity. Subscribe to the channel to join me in exploring the enigmas of our distant ancestors and try to come to tentative conclusions about them. Happy Pi Day. If you're not familiar with it, it's an annual tradition among nerds like myself and YouTubers in the mathematics space. Pi is estimated to two digits as 3.14, therefore Pi Day is March 14th. They often do some obscure experiment that calculates the digits of pi. Stand Up Math and 3 Blue 1 Brown are two of my favorite math channels. Check them out. I assume the tradition started over here, since Americans write the date, month, day, then the year, much to the chagrin of every programmer who's ever needed to figure out how to sort by date. You also might notice that today is not March 14th. This upload is actually on the 16th. You might think I just can't be fucked to get the video out on time, but I'm actually here to wish you an ancient Egypt Pi Day. The ratio between the diameter and circumference of a circle is an important constant that any civilization that builds anything will eventually come across. The earliest estimations of the constant was simply 3, which was used by the earliest Babylonians, who then later refined it to about 3.125. The Old Testament references a basin of Solomon as being 10 cubits across with a circumference of 30. The first reference to the constant in Egypt comes from a papyrus known as the Rhind mathematical papyrus, which seems to be a sort of collective of mathematical understandings of Egypt. To quote the original scribe, it was created for, quote, accurate reckoning, for inquiry into things and the knowledge of all things, mysteries, all secrets. End quote. Interestingly, we know exactly when it was written and by whom. Before the meat of the text starts, the author continues from before, quote, this book was copied in regnal year 33, month 4 of Akhet, under the majesty of the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, Osir, given life from an ancient copy made in the time of king of Upper Lower Egypt, Namatri. The scribe Atmos writes this copy. End quote. That year translates to 1550 BC, so this was created in the Second Intermediate Period, and is being copied from an older work that is now lost to history. The original text was written in the reign of Amenemhat III, the pharaoh who built the Black Pyramid. Unfortunately, all that we know about its discovery is that it was found in, quote, one of the small buildings near the Ramesseum, end quote, near Luxor. Alexander Henry Rhind, a Scottish antiquarian, brought the two pieces of the papyrus in 1858. It was then acquired by the British Museum in 1865. It's laid out almost like a textbook, with 87 or 91 mathematical problems. I'm not sure which. I found both numbers in academic papers. It also shows you how to solve them. The first book is Basic Arithmetic and Algebra of Linear Equations. Book 2 dealt with geometry. The final 6 problems in that, interestingly enough, dealt with the pyramids, and the third book was just random miscellaneous things. Problem number 48 showed a circle inscribed within a square, with a hieroglyphic marking denoting that the value is 64. Problem 50 follows this up with information and a procedure of how to find the area of the round field with a diameter of 9 ket. I tried to find a picture of this particular section, but was not able to find one. The steps given call for subtracting 1/9 of the circle's diameter, leaving us with 8. Of course, we're going to do some math in a Pi Day video. It then says to multiply this number by 8. The way it's written can be a little confusing, but it's actually telling you to take the number and multiply by itself, or square it, for an area of 64. You'll also notice this page didn't actually give us pi. It gave us the ratio between an area of a square and an inscribed circle, but this is how we can find the Egyptian value for pi. They didn't give us the constant, but we can use some math to figure out from their area ratios what the constant would be. If we make the radius of the circle 1, the area of the square will then be 4. Using the ratio we're given from the ancients, the Egyptians' approximation for the area of the circle would then be 4 times 64/81. With some substitution, we get 256/81 for the value of pi, or just over 3.160. Cool. Sure is strange that conspiracy people keep finding our approximation for pi in the pyramids when the Egyptians didn't quite have the same number that we use. Almost like they're full of crap or something. Thank you for listening. Post your favorite facts about pi or ancient Egyptian mathematics in the comments, and subscribe to continue to join me in exploring the knowledge of our distant ancestors.